All right, guys, welcome. Happy Wednesday, August 30th. I'm coming to you. I feel good. I smell good because even though I'm working from home, I still spray cologne because it puts me in the mood. And I also put a little bit on my son. So when he goes and hugs his teacher, he's the kid that smells good and not the smelly kid. But anyways, I'm coming to you alive, coming to you excited, and coming to you full of gratitude as always. And here's one thing that I want to share with you guys. I'm actually going to share the link in just a moment here so you guys can go back and watch the replay. I was asked to speak on a Maui mastermind yesterday, and we all donated our time to speak at this Maui mastermind. And the intent is that people that were joining the mastermind could go in, whether it was Lauren Taylor, whether it was me, whether it was these other amazing speakers throughout the nation, you were able to donate some time to get a coaching session or a download or a social media workbook, whatever it was. And it was just incredible to be able to be in that space. And in less than a few hours, the group was able to generate more than $13,000. Now that money is still growing, it's still going, and that money is going to help relief efforts in Lahaina and make sure that it's going to the families that truly are in need. And so I want to ask for a little bit of support from you guys right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in the chat down below. You'll see the whole entire replay. There's some fire information in here. If you guys just want to skip through my portion, that's okay. I understand that. I get a lot of your guys' time as it is, but I want you guys to check this out when you have a moment because there's some fire information in here. And then if you have the ability to pass that on to other people, fellow real estate agents, fellow people in the business, people that are just like-minded, then pass this on to them. Inside of that video, there's going to be different ways for people to donate money. Every single speaker is associated with a number, right? My donation was coaching hours as well as a behind the scenes full VIP day here in at Fast headquarters. They get to see our operation. They get to shoot a video in the Fast booth, and they get to really see our operations and take a peek under the hood. So they can bring their whole entire team or they can come out one. And so that's what I donated. So if you guys have the ability, I don't care if it's $5, $10, $20, whatever you have the means to do. If you're an owner on here and you're a business owner and you're looking at taxes for the end of the year, you say, you know what? I have to spend a little bit of money to make sure that I am clear and my taxes are good for the end of the year, whatever that looks like for you. We would obviously, welcome the donation. So I wanted to give that plug, you guys, because it meant so much to me to be in that room, but I found it very difficult. And here's why. On these calls for Keep It Moving group coaching, I'm here with you guys. I can see you. Some of you are working out. Some of you are on the computer, wherever you are, but I get to see you. StreamYard, you don't get to see anybody. It's literally you're just talking to a screen, and it was very hard. But nonetheless, my hope is that it hit and people are still going to contribute and donate. So thanks for being here, you guys. That's all I wanted to talk to you about, or that's all I wanted to talk about that. And let's get right into today's session. So I'm going to have somebody, as always, bring us out on the field. Kim, I'm going to have you mute yourself because I'm getting some background noise. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. So I'm going to go over to Cynthia because, Cynthia, I love you. I haven't seen you in a minute. I know that you're getting ready and prepped and prepared for a nice vacation because it is well deserved, and I love it. So as always, I'm going to have you bring us out on the field. So what's the sentiment? If you're bringing us your battle cry, bringing us out on the field, what does that look like for you? And what's the message you want to share with the team today? And this is obviously unrehearsed and unscripted. So Cynthia Peterson.
Awesome. So an attitude of gratitude. That's just what we should be using right now. It's only the middle of the week. So take the rest of the week to shift your perspective and have that attitude of gratitude, because you get to pick your attitude. You may not get to choose if it was a shit week, but you get to pick the attitude that you carry behind that shit week. Hopefully you're not having a shit week though. Hopefully it's an amazing week. And so you get to be grateful for all those amazing things. But even when you're in the dumps, just reminding yourself, what am I grateful for? And telling yourself 3 quick things that you're grateful for can really change your attitude. So I hope that helps you guys.
100%, 100%. I'm getting, my computer is freezing for some reason. Let me get back to the screen here. Okay, cool. Now we are back and now we are running. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. You ever talk to a person that every time you talk with that person, it's like negative, like, oh my God, or they're hanging on to something that happened to them, weeks ago, months ago. And not saying that we don't go through drama and trauma. I get that and I respect that at the very highest level. But those people that are super negative and they're not able to release everything are like, oh yeah, and they want to bring you down with every little thing. Like, God, get those people out of your circle. Get those people out of your circle. And if you are that person, then change that, because nobody wants to be around no negative Nancy, no Debbie Downer, because we want to surround ourselves with people that see the optimism despite what's happening, right? It's a choice. So I really appreciate that sentiment, Cynthia. So let's do this, you guys. I want to talk to you guys right now about the market. I'm not going to go into all the data, all the analytics. We have some lenders on the call today. They can dive a little bit more into that. But I want to ask you guys, first and foremost, think about this, and I'll come back to you guys in just a moment. What are some things that you guys are reading in the real estate market right now, nationally, locally, in your micro markets, that you could share with a consumer? Meaning, I just read an article, Cassandra read an article this morning that was really powerful about something that she heard in the local market. I'm going to share some thoughts with you. Like, who in your database needs to hear that information? How can you take that information, repurpose it, and create a really dope video that's going to reach the masses? I want you guys to really think about that. Not just understanding the dialogue, but who needs to hear this dialogue today, and who needs to see this video, who can I share this with? So a couple things I wanted to share with you guys really quick, and I'm gonna pull up my screen here. Thank you guys once again, if you're able to tap into the mastermind. So what I wanted to do is talk to you guys about this. How many people have seen this new article about the Flannery Associates and how much land that they currently bought in Silicon Valley? Has anybody, or excuse me, in Solano County? Has anyone seen that? Raise your hand, give me some reactions on the screen down below. Okay, cool. So let me go and let a few people in. So 5 participants. All right. So I'm sure based on this information, your guys' heads are spinning. Like, what's going on? What's Utopia City? What is the next Silicon Valley? And we don't know. There's tons of speculation out there. So this is a great article that tells who's behind this land grab, what their intentions are, what they're wanting to build, how they have to go and get votes from the county to see if they could rezone that area, because that area is not even zoned for residential. So there's a lot of things that need to happen in order for this to actually go into play. But can you imagine this? Can you imagine that in 10 to 15 years from now, there is another Silicon Valley in Solano County, right? With the access to the waterway, with quick access to the freeway. You're right in the middle of going to Sacramento, as well as being in the middle of being able to get to the Bay. There's so many opportunities there. And so I feel that this is a really, really good conversation. And when you think about these things and when you see these things, oh, shoot, sorry. All right. Sorry, hold on. I don't know why my computer's freezing. Hold on. Something's bugging on my computer. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. My computer is completely frozen. All right, I'm going to get out of this for a second. I don't know.
Make me co-host in case it kicks you off.
I don't know what's going on here, Sin. I can't even move my mouse.
Hit escape your mouser. Hit escape on your keyboard.
All right, I hit escape.
Okay, did it unfreeze?
It unfroze, but now my computer is just frozen. But anyways, let me stay with my thoughts here, because I want to make sure to finish this thought. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get right over to you, Cynthia, and I'm going to make you co-host for a quick minute. And then if I have to log off and log back in, confirm that you're a co-host.
I don't know how to confirm that.
So hold on, you guys. Sorry, tech difficulties. This is not common. I apologize. You guys know that this is not the normal routine, but my computer is completely bugging out right now, and I have no idea what is going on. All right, you guys, hold on.
Hey Elias, do you want me to show them some market updates? I can share my screen while you guys are doing that part.
Yeah, please do. I'm gonna try to fix this really quick. I'm not too sure what's going on, you guys. My apologies. This is really, really random. It's peculiar that this is happening, but I'm gonna unplug everything. So I'm gonna try to make Cynthia co-host, and then I'll be right back to continue the thought. So Ashley, let's do that. Let's have you. I'm gonna see if I can make Cynthia co-host really quick. If I can get to her name. Hold on, hold on. Sorry, guys, this has never happened like this. Let's see.
Okay, I got some good one-liners you guys can use.
All right. You know what? Why don't you just start sharing and I'm gonna figure this out. I can't even move anything. I can't do anything right now. Fuck.
Oh, no worries. Okay, so I can't share my screen, but I can verbally just tell you guys. So we've been waiting for a negative jobs report to come in, which obviously is the last thing that anybody wants to hope for, but the Fed's not going to reduce rates until the job market takes a hit. That's just kind of where we are. Let me see if it'll let me. No, it's still not going to let me. That's okay. So ADP report came in today with 177,000 jobs created. They were expecting 200,000, so it was lower for the first time in a long time than expected. So that was really promising for us. The other thing was that the Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which is the gold standard of appreciation, showed that home prices rose another 0.65% in June. So home prices have been rising since January. I just got off a phone call yesterday and someone was like thinking about selling their house and they were like, well, I know house prices are going down right now. I was like, who told you that? House prices are going up, and I explained to them the whole supply and demand thing. But you can use the Case-Shiller Home Price Index. It is, like I said, the gold standard for appreciation, and it showed the prices are actually rising again by 0.65, and they've been rising since January. So that's good news. I wish I could show you guys, maybe I can screenshot it and put it into the chat. We had a really bad while with rates, which I'm sure you guys know. Let me see if I can snippet this and just show you the last few days, though, have been pretty promising. We've got a good trajectory, is that how you say that, going on here. So let me see if I can pop this into the chat so that you can see what rates have been doing. Let's do this. And was it gonna let me? All right, so that's a chart. Green is good. So if you click it, hopefully it'll get a little bit bigger. You can see all the red in the downward slope, and that's when we were all really sad, but we could get, there's lots of good things that we can get. Down payment assistance offers can get accepted, and we can hopefully get some seller credits. But the last few days that's the positive move. We are finally looking a little bit better. And so with this negative jobs report, I'm hoping that that keeps going. There's another report that's coming out tomorrow on Friday that is also related to jobs. So if those come out negative, again, not something we want to hope for people, but if they do come out negative, then that can be promising for rates. And then just one more thing I wanted to share. Let me go back to the morning update. So
Ashley, you can share now. Your host.
Yay! Okay, great. Let me get out of here.
We know the most important reports we're going to see.
Okay, and we're going to go to share screen. And this screen is what I want to share. Okay, so this is MBS Highway. MBS Highway is, can you guys see the screen? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Barry Habib, 2-time Zillow award winner. He's a leading economist, and he's somebody that most loan officers follow daily just to kind of get an idea of what's going on in the market. So this I thought was interesting. Quiet cutting. Employees. This means reassigning workers with lower pay and lower title so that they can trim costs and potentially cut jobs if they do not accept it without laying off workers. So things like that can affect jobs, and if jobs get lower, then rates can improve. So that's all I have. Back to you, Elias.
Wonderful. Hey, you guys, thank you for understanding. Sometimes we have difficult. Not too sure what happened, but here's the thing, you guys. There's tons of articles that I want you guys to watch. Right now, there is an article that is on YouTube. It is realtor.com, and it is the wild statistics. And what you'll find is that if you go to realtor.com and you go to realtor.com/research/data, what you're able to do is you're able to pull up not only local reports, national reports, statewide reports, but it's able to show you exactly what the trends are, where we're heading, what's happening, and then really take all these things that you're researching and seeing and saying, okay, how can I simplify this? Because the way that Ashley speaks and the way that a lender speaks, it might be too over the head for some of us. But what I love about the way that they put it together is that we can digest this information. Now, what we have to do is now we have to take this information that's easy for us to understand and even simplify that even further, right? 5th grade, 6th grade level. So what is some information that you guys are seeing in the market that A, you want to share right now, and B, that you can share with consumers and that need to hear this information? So what I wanted to do is I want to go around the room. I see some hands up. I'm not too sure if those hands were up from earlier or if those were new hands, but let me go ahead and get to these because I want to have a full stream consciousness conversation about what's actually happening. What are you seeing? What is the patterns? And what is some information that you know right now that needs to be shared with the consumer? So let's go to Christina, and then I'm going to come over to George Martinez, and then I'm going to keep cruising through the list because I want to get you guys involved in this conversation. Cynthia, thanks for your help. Ashley, thank you for understanding. So let's go. Christina, Cynthia, George Martinez, and let's go.
Yeah, so wanted to give you guys a quick that seller credits are back. I think they really ever left, to be honest, but I say really consumers, if they are concerned about rates, payment comfortability, remind them, I know I'm on my buyers, we can buy down the interest rate. Buy down the interest rate. We've been getting, I would say the last 3 contracts I've had in the last 30 days, $10,000 seller credit. The buyers decided to put all of that instead of towards strictly their closing costs, buying down the interest rate. So that is huge. Reminding buyers that they can do that. Sometimes they just don't know. I know we can be on these calls, we talk about it, we put it on reels, but they just don't realize like, what? I can put that to buy down my interest rate, $10,000. Okay, get with your lender. Hey, if I use $5,000 seller credit, how much does that bring down the rate and the payment? Or what if I do a $10,000? I've been doing that a lot lately, a 5 or a 10. How much can we bring down the interest rate? It's been clutch, to be honest. It's helping buyers feel like they feel so defeated about the interest rates. But then when they see like, okay, like this is in my favor, like I don't have all these things against me, I can bring down my payment, and it's actually getting them to kind of peek back where they may have started to ghost you. So that's just my 2 cents.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. Cynthia Peterson, let's hear from you. Thoughts, sentiment. What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? All right, she's on a call. Let's go to George Martinez. You had your hand up. Let's go to you. What was your thoughts, sentiment? Let's have you chime in on this conversation. And then Dominique, I would love to get your insight on this as well. Let's go, George.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting because I feel like we kind of just have to be ready for whichever market, because I feel like right now it's kind of in limbo is from what I'm seeing with a bunch of my clients. Like there's some houses that are barely getting an offer, some that are not getting any and going off market. But then I've seen some that are going like 200,000 over the asking price and getting like 9 offers. And then yesterday I definitely saw a house in Oakland where they're literally giving the buyer $1,500 in credit toward their closing costs. Like they said that right off the bat. I just had an agent reach out to me yesterday. Their house came back on the market and they're saying, you know what? The sellers are so motivated. They're willing to cover all the closing costs for the buyer. So I feel like it's definitely like a case by case basis, but also being there to educate all of our clients and letting them know, because I know that's a conversation I'm having with some of my clients right now, is that they're sending me homes anticipating like, hey, this is not going to get any offers, and just having to like re-educate them. And what I found recently helped is actually doing a Zoom call with my clients, myself, and my lender partner, and actually having the lender go through with them over all the numbers, redo their pre-approval with them, and just briefly explain. And also as the agent going over like the comps I ran and just letting them know based on the conversations with the agent too, and letting them know like, hey, like some of these are going to take preemptives, and then some are just waiting because of the high interest. And right now, I know something I've been doing is just, if like my buyers are really concerned about the rate, I'm willing to give them a credit to help them buy down the rate if the seller isn't. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather them get in now, because if they're already at their max budget, then they're just going to be priced out when the end comes, or well, when rates drop. So just kind of being strategic with them too.
So George, you're saying you're offering up some, if in the case where you need to, you're offering some of your commission to help them buy down their interest rate.
Yeah. So me and one of my lender partners are actually both crediting buyers back 2,500 from each of our commissions, so they could use whether toward closing costs or to buy down their interest rate. And right now, based on my conversation with you the other day, my goal moving forward is not to partner as much. So then that way in the event, I can always go ahead and help my clients a little bit more by giving a little bit more to help them buy down the interest rate and help alleviate that way. Because at the end of the day, if I can help my clients by giving them some credits to buy down the rate or help them with their closing costs, I mean, it's going to help generate referrals, and I'm doing something out of the kindness of my heart to help them achieve ownership. Because a lot of the people that I do have that are super, super active right now are people that are like teachers or police officers or first responders. And so those people I feel like are going to be priced out once rates drop, because then the stock market is more likely going to do better. And then you're going to have all these techies pulling out all their stocks or going IPO, and then they're going to freaking landslide on all these people who are like middle or lower class people, and are probably not going to have a chance.
Wow, good stuff, George. Really good stuff. I love the insights. Cynthia, we'll come back to you in just a moment. I'm going to go over to Dominique. Obviously, Dominique sees this from both sides. She is also an appraiser. She is also a top performing agent. So what are you seeing? What is some information that you want to share? Also, what have you read lately that you know, like, that's really important information I should probably share with my consumers? So share with us.
Yeah, so a lot of things that I've been touching on is getting the buyers to understand that they need to focus more on what it is that they can afford now, and basing their affordability on what kind of house they can get, rather it be a townhouse, condo, or a smaller home, and letting them know more so like be your first time investment, and then using this as a stepping stone. And so that kind of gets it in their head like, okay, this isn't my first home that I'm not going to look at. And it's more of getting them in a place where they're more humble about the situation. And so focusing the buyers more on getting pre-approved to see that they're at, and then seeing from there, are you comfortable with purchasing a house with 2 bedrooms instead of maybe, 3, or, less bathrooms. And so it's just kind of guiding them in a sense to where you're not selling them the dream, but more of getting them more realistic to the market. Because at the end of the day, what we have to do in this market, like George said, it's a limbo market. Some markets are just totally different than others. So some are selling at list price, and then some are selling above, right? So it's our job to learn the market and see what markets are doing that and what markets aren't. Because if we don't have those resources and we don't have those numbers in the markets to show them and guide them the right way, then you're going to lose that client, because they're going to get frustrated and then they're going to leave you. So it's up to us to learn all the resources, talk to different lenders, talk to your main lender, make videos with your main lender. I know that's what me and Christina are talking about doing. We made one already, which actually I've got a few messages off of that one where we're telling buyers to get pre-approved even though they're not ready right now. I've got quite a few messages from that, and we're planning on getting back in the Walnut Creek office and making more, because when you bring that lender in, that is gold for the buyer. We can't do anything without the lender.
That's right. That's right. I love this. And you know what? I think that, I think it's important that we're talking about the things that not everyone else is talking about. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of emotional anxiety around purchasing a home right now with interest rates being high. Like, there's been things that I don't see enough people talking about. I know that you guys are doing a really good job at it, but it's like, how can we heighten that? How can we speak further into how these people are feeling about purchasing a home because of everything that they're seeing? Remember, clients are led by a shepherd, and that shepherd is the headlines, and it's our job to give them a different course. And so I love what you're doing. I love bringing Christina in, because now it's even more relatable than what you were doing just on your own. But let me ask you a question, Dominique. I'm going to give you a scenario here, and I want you to tell me what you would do in this scenario. So you are working with an elderly client. They came into an inheritance. They are thinking about just purchasing a mobile home outright. for $150,000. They're 73 years old. Would you advise that they put that $150,000 and just purchase that? Or do you think that they should only put a portion on and finance the rest? What would you do if that was somebody that you were working with right now?
I think it kind of depends on their whole situation as a whole. I mean, and then they would have to if they would have to refinance the other portion, I mean, it just kind of depends how much money do they have in their bank account, right? What is their credit looking like? What will their payment be like? So I mean, it just kind of depends on the overall picture. And that's why you have to talk with the client and see about their bank account. It's not that you're intruding them. And I always tell clients or potential clients, like, I'm not trying to intrude on your financials. I just need to know these things to better assist you. So it just all takes a bigger picture of what they're telling you they're more comfortable with on a monthly note or just flat out paying it.
Totally. Because I'll be honest with you guys, that's what we're dealing with right now with grandma. You know, she has, you know, money that she inherited because of the loss of Amanda's dad. And she's like, I just don't want to worry about anything, nothing. I just want to pay it. I want to be done. And when I go on from this life, then you guys inherit that. But I'm thinking also, like, can she leverage that money? So I'm just wanting you guys' thoughts and wanting your opinion on that. So I appreciate that and appreciate your sentiment. Cynthia, let's go to you. Hopefully that call went well for you.
No, but that's okay.
Okay.
I just helped a client buy a mobile home, and they were in that same situation where they were like, you know, I'm not going to take out a 30-year mortgage when I may have 10 years left in life. So they ended up doing full cash offer, and it was a lot of coaching though. Like, how much do you guys have in the bank? What would you do if there was a huge situation that happened and you needed a ton of cash? So a lot of coaching for sure. What I'm seeing out here in the Martinez market, so I have a listing right now. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and that puppy is sitting. I mean, last summer, she would have sold within the first week. We're at 13 days today. There has been, in the last week, 10 homes that came on the market in Martinez. And I was just looking in here this morning, there are so many homes on the market in Martinez right now. So active right now, homes on the market that are detached, fucking 50 houses in Martinez, you guys. So when, you know, you hear folks say, oh, it's still a great market, it's still super hot, just make sure that you know the city, the neighborhood, like drill into the neighborhood too, and coach your seller clients. Because if you're telling them, oh, we're going to get this sold within a week with my marketing and my negotiation skills, I know I'm going to do this, you're setting up the wrong expectation. So let them know, look, there are fewer buyers making offers in your city right now, right? I know Fremont, totally different ballgame, but in Martinez, that's what it looks like right now. Elias, can I share that text message I sent you the other day too?
Yeah, please. And while you're sharing that, because this is really important, what do you believe, being a resident, somebody that lives there, knows the patterns, knows the trends, like, what is it? Because last year at this time, it would have been a completely different story. But like, are people looking at Martinez as like a secondary market, and the primary markets are hitting more, and they're like, the Martinez market, instead of going to Martinez, they're going to Concord, they're going to Walnut Creek? Or tell me a little bit about what you believe to be like the sentiment.
Yeah, so we in Martinez, right downtown, we are a refinery city, just like Richmond, right? If you look at Richmond, there's a ton that just came on the market and a ton that's still active right now. And because I live down here, I had to disclose, hey, our refinery, not once, not twice, they have 3 times let out this, it's called coke dust, and it was bad for the environment. So I had to put that in my disclosures because I got a letter in the mail. So it's a disclosure that had to be put in there, right?
So just for the people that don't know, because I have no clue and I'm really curious now, what is coke dust?
That's a great question. I would definitely Google it more, because I was like, I just know that I got a slip in the mail about it. Basically, it's, from my understanding, it's like the residual stuff that should not be released. Yeah, the refinery is real. So it's brutal. And because I put that in my disclosure, we've had, it's like the bad kind of coke dust. We've had quite a few families come through, love the house, and then the agent texts me back, sorry, just read the disclosure, is not going to happen. But this is an 86-year-old home. It had less than $8,000 on section 1. It has a studio unit. This puppy should have sold by now. So seller is freaking out, but I let her know, remember in the beginning when we started and I set the expectations, I let you know it's probably going to take us about 21 days to start receiving offers. So I just keep going back to remember that in the beginning, right? So when you set the right expectations, she's like, yeah, that's right. Okay. So, yeah, good question for sure.
And I know because Mel just had a listing that sat on the market for more than 30 days. The seller was super unrealistic and wanted to go in based on last year's prices. She wouldn't budge. They literally had to do $100,000 price drop in order to get that home. So we know, you guys, that listen, prices are up in tons of cities throughout the Bay Area, Sacramento, as well as the Central Valley. However, sometimes it is neighborhood, street specific, pocket neighborhood specific. So it's really, really important that you're digging and you're drilling down to that specific zip code. So good stuff, Cynthia.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Thanks for putting that in there. Cool. So the other day I was texting clients that are my B-list clients that aren't really ready to get pre-approved, but they keep seeing properties and being like, let's go check this one out. And I'm like, sit tight. Let's get you pre-approved. We don't even know if you can afford this home. So I'll do like 1 or 2 of those showings before I let them know, look, the sellers want to see a serious offer. You guys love this house. You're not even pre-approved yet. So what I've been doing to re-engage people is sending out a text saying, hey client, right? Our team has been finding really good deals for our buyers in today's market for a couple of reasons. Rates have gone up, so there are truly only serious buyers looking right now. And in some cities, there are good amounts of inventory. As you know, the higher the supply and the rate, the lower the demand. This makes it a great market for us to negotiate your rate down with little to zero competition. The links I sent over today are the homes currently on the market that I feel would be a good fit based on the homes that we've toured together. If you like 1 or 2 of them, when would be a good time to check them out? And then I send them a couple of homes from the MLS, from Real Scout directly. And I ask them, you know, which homes do you guys want to check out? That has been really successful, letting them know, educating them, right? Here's what the rates are doing right now. Only serious buyers are out, and telling them, look, here are some properties that we might be able to actually get you in with 0 to no competition. And then of course, ending with that call to action. When are some good times that when would be the best time to go check them out? And that has gotten such a great rate of return on like folks reaching back out and being like, oh, I didn't know that. Or I had one client send me a news article and it was like, the housing market's crumbling. And I'm like, yeah, that's a national news article, homie. Like, you're in the Bay Area. And now we're looking in Richmond. Like, there's a good amount of inventory. So just educating ourselves and then sending that out to clients.
Wonderful. Can you share, can you drop that script in the chat, or did you already?
I'll send it to you guys right now in the chat. Yep.
All right, cool. I appreciate that. I think that that's just a really intelligent way to do that. I was talking to an agent yesterday and she had over 30 people in her Real Scout, and only 7 of those people had a search criteria set up for them. So if you guys are putting people in Real Scout as well as in Follow Up Boss, those two go hand in hand together. Every single person needs to have a search criteria, because then even the people that say, I'm not interested, we're not going to buy till next year, you're looking at them and you're seeing how many homes they're seeing, viewing, opening emails, and then you could respond accordingly. Hey, Dominique, I know you said you wanted to wait until December, but I found this house. It's been on the market for 90 days. I think we have a great opportunity. There was a price reduction. Would love to at least get you out to this home so you can see it and see if it fits for you and your family, right? Or, well, we want to wait until the new year. Okay, Aaron, I understand that, but let me ask you a question. If the right home came up in the right neighborhood that fit your budget and had all the checked all the boxes, would you still wait, or would you consider moving forward? Well, we would consider moving forward. Okay, so it's not really I want to wait. That's not even the real objection there. So I love what you're doing there, Cynthia. Let's go. We got a couple hands up. Let's go Dominique, let's go Otis, and let's go Joe Allen. Thank you guys for getting involved in the conversation at a high level. And if you guys have something on your mind, if you have some knowledge that you want to drop, if you know a pattern, saw something recently, do not be shy, you guys. We always know we have our usual suspects that are going to raise their hand and get involved. But if you have something of knowledge to bring, then raise your hand and get involved in this conversation. Let's go, Dominique.
Also, too, what I think is important for us to do is look at the rental market. So I've been gauging the rental market lately, and a lot of rentals have been way longer. So we're talking 17 days, 52 days. And so when you start seeing that trend and start seeing what the owners want, that's another way to gauge your clients, like your sellers and your buyers actually, and start talking those numbers, especially buyers, because when you start looking at rentals, 3-bed being $5,500 a month, then you can start to tell them, like, look, there's a rental $5,500 a month. How much is that a year? Right? And this is how much house you're getting. Would you rather just invest in that money into owning your own home and then eventually gaining equity in it? And so watching the rental market, if you guys go on Zillow, I mean, literally houses are, and the rentals also are having price drops. So what you can also use that as leverage too, to contact the owners and say, hey, maybe we can try to get your house on the market. We see it sitting, and use that as a leverage to have a conversation with them. So we're starting to see the rent sitting. And so it's good for us to also engage that, because it helps us with our business and seeing the market on all levels and not just the purchase level, because at the end of the day, that all ties together. So the resources and the numbers that we are giving our clients so those are great conversation starters for us, for both parties.
Yeah, I think this is a really astute way to think about this. When you guys go back to the home equity report, and if you don't know what it is, go to Slack. If you're on the team, just search home equity report. The home equity report answers 4 questions. A, what is the current value of my home? B, what are the current rents in my neighborhood, right? If the rents are $5,500, I'm probably going to be the one that tells you maybe you can sell, maybe you don't have to sell, but at least you have the information. The third thing it tells you is what the current interest rates are. And the last, it tells you what are my investment opportunities that are here locally as well as out of the state. Being a part of EXP, you guys are a part of this large network of thousands and thousands of agents in all different markets. So when it comes to having reach, having ideas, and having investor opportunities in different markets, you guys all have that, no matter who you are on the call, whether you've sold 1 house or 50 homes. So you got to think about this, like inventory is tight, but these sellers might just be sitting on a bunch of equity. They don't know what to do with it. They're not aware of what current current rents are. They don't know about investment opportunities. And here you are as a beacon, as a light, somebody that is going to share some additional information that they may not know. That's how you heighten that relationship with the consumer. So Dominique, I love that. Let's go to Joe Allen, let's go to Otis, and then we'll come back to Ashley. Joe Allen, what was your thoughts, contribution, insight? Let's hear from you. And then we'll go to Jeff.
I just want to share that if you're going to work with the senior demographic, keep in mind their social security. Keep in mind that home care is $35 an hour to have someone come in and take care of them. Assisted living is anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a month, and memory care is $10,000 a month. So when they have an option to pay all cash, it's best to have them pay all cash and have them live off their social security, because at the end of the day, they're going to run out and not be able to pay for their mortgage payment if you put them into a loan. But also don't discredit the reverse mortgage. The reverse mortgage is a great loan product to help them stay in their home and live off the equity that they've worked for all their entire life. And when you go in and present a reverse mortgage, you're going to end up selling the house at the end of the day because you helped them stay in their home for as long as they could.
Beautiful. God, great stuff. And your hair turned out great. Awesome. Appreciate your contribution. Good stuff. Let's go to Otis, and we'll go to Ashley, and we'll go to Jeff Phillips. Let's go. Oh, appreciate you, Joe.
As far as grandma, people wanting to shell out that $150 on the mobile home, you got to keep in mind what that space rent is. And I don't know exactly where you're trying to set her up, but those things can range from as low as like $800 all the way up to like $2,600. So even though she's cashing out, buying the unit as a whole, she'll still have to pay that mobile space rent. So I think it might be ideal to be opening to go and getting her a single family, which is going to appreciate even in the 10 years. You guys can keep it in the family. If she doesn't get past the 10 years, you got those grandbabies that are probably going to be in their 20s. Your son's probably going to be a teenager, so it could be something for college funds for them if you guys want to sell it or just keep it in the family. But I would definitely think about that because that space rent could be something that could be a hassle, especially being on a fixed income. So just think about that, brother.
Yeah,
Then
appreciate that.
As far as the market, I think it's time for us all to really do our homework. Dominique was bringing fucking fire today. That girl is on fire right now. And that does make a difference from the rental part because that's something that I'm trying to convince a listing agent there too. Like, dude, you're getting like 5,000. You can barely get 2,500. So, you know, our offer is $100,000 less, but your unit comes with no parking, no storage, no EV, and all the other units that are at 100,000, which you want, do have that. So the offset for just 10 years of parking for my client is going to be a damn near 60,000. So doing your homework and get something in contract, which we just did, and being good to the listing agent, calling them up, asking questions. Hey, what's the bottom line? You know, I've seen you be sitting there. I've seen you relisted twice. What's the absolute bottom number that your seller is willing to take? If my buyer's ready, if it makes sense, and you know, right now it's going to be hard. So again, just doing your homework, having an open line of communication with the other side and saying, hey, look, Elias, like, I'm not trying to offend. I just want to know what can work out for the best of us. Because you got to make sure that you're giving something not only to your client, but hey, keep in mind that you know what it's like being a listing agent. So you know what a bottom line is and you know what the in-between is, and you also want to get the highest. So this shit comes in waves, being nice, doing your homework. I'm telling you, can take you guys a long way.
That's right. I love this. You guys have to think about this, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. You are digital mayors. You are the commentators. You are the journalists of the market. So what you need to do is you need to spend that time every single day reading about the market. And that doesn't mean you're spending hours. Maybe it was one article that you broke down, you read, you understood. Now you say, how can I articulate this at the highest level to a consumer, right? And I think that some of those, because I promise you this, if Cynthia said, who knows what Coke dust is? All right, guys, well, let me share with you what it actually means. I'm going to create a video on that. I promise you this. I would watch that video, and I would watch that video in its entirety. Have you guys heard about Flannery Associates and this group that bought 800 million or spent $800 million in Solano County to build a new utopia? What is that? I would watch that video. So I've taken the information that I've studied, I've listened, and now I've put it into words that are my own, that are going to relate to my audience, right? So I think that the understanding of it is really, really important. Like, we're all students. I'm still a student. I've been licensed since 2009, and I'm still a student to this day. So you guys need to make sure that that is in your schedule. No matter how busy you're getting, prospecting, showing homes, doing open houses, running from town to town, maybe that is the time when you're listening and you're understanding what's happening, because you're listening to a podcast about the market, you're listening to a YouTube video about the market, and you're trying to understand and not have a consumer decipher. It is our responsibility to translate. Right? Let me be clear on that. It is our responsibility to translate, not a consumer's responsibility to decipher what's actually happening and the reality of our market. That's our job. So the more you study, the more you retain the information, then the better you are at articulating what is actually happening in the market. Ashley, I'm coming to you in a moment. Jeff Phillips, want to get to you, big dog, looking sharp this morning. You're blue. Let's go to you, and then we'll start coming full circle on the conversation. Let's go.
Appreciate you, brother, man. So my contribution, I just wanted to make sure everybody understands, like, we're having great talking points, and don't be afraid to have the tough conversations with your clients. Like, I no longer just blurt out like, oh, it's a great time to buy, when I'm about to go into all those talking points that we just had. I'm actually telling them, like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be one of those agents that's just going to tell you it's a great time to buy just to tell you that. But what we are going to do is we're going to dive into the strategy that may make it the right time for you, if it makes sense, because you want to build trust right now. Because at the end of the day, and I've been having this conversation with a good amount of agents and just wanting to, because it's been on my heart a lot and I just wanted to spread it. When you plant an apple seed, you don't go to the apple seed the next week and be like, God damn, why I ain't got no apples this week? What the hell? Like, damn, I want my apples. You planted that seed last week to know that you were going to put fresh soil on it. You were going to water it. You were going to do those things. So sometimes, like, I have a client right now that he did our plan. We've been working together for 3 years. He's got the money for the down payment, but he just didn't do the things that we talked about for his credit. So he's at like a 540 credit score. it just doesn't really make sense for him right now. Another one, you know, for her, it makes more sense now that we want to look into new builds to see if, as these builders start getting more pressure on them, the incentives go up. So it's not the worst thing, but being able to understand right now your fruits of your labor are really going to pay off in the long run, and keep that idea in the front of your mind when you are having those tough days that you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. This fell through. This person said they don't want to buy right now. Keep the trust. Keep being the person that they're going to rely on and fall to when you're now going to look up from a year from now and be like, God damn, I got 4 into escrow. What the hell? Where did this come from? Well, it came from when you planted that seed last year and you didn't try to force the seed to bear fruit within the next week. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to nurture these long term. Sometimes we got to just be that person that's going to be someone they can rely on. Or I'm not here for one deal. I'm here for 10. So I want to make sure that my message and my trust that I've built with you lasts the longevity of our time together.
Yeah, you know, amen, brother, amen. Because when we think about this, everyone always says service and advocacy, but do you really truly stand on a pillar of service and advocacy? And if you do, that means that you have to display a level of patience, right? Patience to understand their situation, where they're at emotionally, where they're at financially, and make sure that you're there. And they should never feel rushed. Now, obviously, there's going to be some urgency if there's a house that they really want, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, if advocacy and service is at the center of who you are in this business, then we have to display tremendous levels of patience. So I really appreciate that sentiment. Let's go back to Ashley, and we'll come full circle in the conversation.
Awesome. I'm actually going to echo exactly Jeff's message, because that's exactly what I was going to say. A lot of the time, people who say, I want to wait until next year, are hiding something. In my experience, there's something that they don't trust you enough to tell you. I'm worried about my credit score. Jeff, you know their credit score. That doesn't normally happen where you know the details of that, but that tells me your client really trusts you to tell you, well, this is where my credit score is. This is where I am with savings. A lot of the time they're like, well, I haven't saved enough. They don't know we can get seller credits. If they trust you enough to tell you those objections, there's things in our arsenals that we can do to override them. But when they say, okay, you know what, I just want to wait till next year, push back a little bit, ask, well, tell me a little bit more about that. What's making you wait until next year? And if it's, well, I'm just not ready to get approved right now, well, you can, I have had a lot of clients that have benefited from just speaking to a lender. You don't have to run your credit. You don't have to make any commitments. It's free. So you take all of those pain points away. And the way that I like to look at it is, it's like trying to find your keys in the dark. You can try to find your keys in the dark, but you're probably going to bump your head along the way, and it's probably going to take you a really long time to get there. But if you talk to a lender now, we can build you a plan. It doesn't have to be today. It can be next year. It could be 2 years from now, but we can build you that plan. And it's just like turning on the light in that room. You're going to find your keys a whole lot faster if you turn the light on and you have that conversation. So that was my message. And then I did want to just point out this little chart that I posted in the chat in case you guys wanted to use it. It is a bunch of different reports. You don't need to know exactly what all these ones are, but it's a bunch of different reports that track how home prices are doing year over year. And every single one of them has the national home prices going up between 5 and 10%. So if you ever have somebody who's watching the news a little too much, you can have this in your back pocket to show them that actually, statistically, that's not true. Home prices are going up based off of these 5 reports. So that's all I have. Back to you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You guys, thank you for all your contributions at a very, very high level today. This is why I like Wednesdays, is because I love to hear what you guys are talking about, how you're communicating to the consumer, and get new ideas that you can put into your own dialogue. So I want to get a couple key takeaways from some of our guests on the line today. I want to go over to Cassandra. Cassandra, this is her first time at a Keep It Moving group coaching. Thank you for understanding some of the technical difficulties that I had, but what were some of your high level key takeaways from our time together today?
I mean, really, it's the communication. Your education, and to translate that kind of education in your own words to those clients or any prospective buyers or sellers that are on the market, that I thought was really beneficial, of taking it and putting it in your own words. So brand yourself a little bit more like that, but then you build that trust as well. I wrote down a lot of this, to be honest.
Well, I appreciate you being here and thank you for your contributions, and looking forward to having further conversations with you. Aaron, Chris, let's go to you, big dog. Key takeaways from our time together today.
You know what? On these calls, there's always a lot of key takeaways. I really like Dominique's engaging the rental market, realtor.com research and data, and just studying, understanding. I come from a lender background, so a lot of the stuff Ashley was saying resonates. The long game, I've done that myself as a lender, where you set the stage for people. You basically, like Ashley was saying, you tell them there's no obligation. This is setting your game plan. This is a foundation for you buying a home. It might happen 6 months from now. It might happen 2 years from now. But the key is to set the foundation. Understand what your credit is. Understand how much money you have to save. Understand what your payment is going to look like. And so all of those were great key takeaways. But I guess from a high level perspective, studying the market, understanding your craft, knowing what you're doing when you're out there, it gives your buyers, it gives your borrowers, it gives whoever your client is confidence in you as an individual because you understand the market. So a lot of key takeaways. These calls are great. I love them.
Well, I appreciate you. I heard this from George Bryan a couple of weeks ago, and it really resonated with me that the consumers, whether they're a buyer and seller, they borrow our confidence until it becomes theirs, right? Like they borrow our confidence because they lean to us for insights, thoughts, market understanding, the data. So they lean to us and use our confidence until it becomes theirs. And sometimes you guys have seen that. You've been working with a consumer before and they're really gun shy and they're trepidatious about writing offers, like, no. And then all of a sudden you see them change, like, hey, Cynthia, I want you to put this together, put this together, put this together. Based on our conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, I think it's best that we put this, like, wow, John, you really came around, because now they're confident because you've guided them, you guys. So they borrow our confidence until it becomes theirs. And that was one of the most powerful things that I've heard in the last couple of weeks. So great stuff. I appreciate you being on. Let's go over to Dana. Dana, key takeaways from our time together today, and then we'll start to wrap the session.
Sure. So just focusing on learning your market, really, because I'm all over the place. So what I took from Cynthia is like just setting the expectation. But to set the expectation, I first need to learn my market that I want to serve, because I can build trust that way. If I'm just spewing information that's all over the place, there's no way I can get ahead in this game or build trust. So
yeah, it's like drilling it down. Like, say you want to serve a certain demographic or a certain zip code in let's say Hayward. Well, run your comps. Look at those comps over the last 90 days. How many offers? What's the pattern? What's the trend? What's happening? Where are the new builds? How many new builds? Like, really understand this. So when they have a question about it, like, you are a true expert. And so it's not only having them have an expectation of you, like have an expectation of yourself, of how much I'm gaining, growing, and learning every single week in this business. That's important. That's our job, right? So I really appreciate all of your guys' thoughts, all of your sentiment. Thank you guys for having patience with me. I want to say thank you to Cynthia. Thank you to Ashley for having my back when we went through some of this, tech difficulties. So here's what I want to do. I want to challenge you guys. Take an article that you guys saw today, and say, okay, based on this article, who needs to hear this information? Based on this article, how can I create a dope video? I'm already thinking, how can I research this coke dust and create a video? But if, Cynthia, you're creating a coke dust video, then I'll let you have that day in the sun. But I'm thinking about these things like, how can we get even more eyes on us and really articulate a message about what's happening? There's so many things. So what I want to encourage you to do is take an article that you read on Inman, realtor.com, market updates channel, and Slack, and say, I'm going to use this as a green screen, and I'm going to create some really dope content based around it. Because oftentimes we're trying to find things to create when there's tons of articles that already exist. Now what you do is you put your thoughts, you put your opinions, you put your vantage point on it. I think that brings the whole messaging home. So you guys, thank you. I love Wednesdays because I love how much you guys step up and contribute at the highest level. So you guys have an amazing, amazing day. If you need anything, let me know. You know where to find me. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision. Have an amazing, amazing day. Peace.